Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you once again with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. Nowadays, I'm exploring the Airbus A321LR, which stands for long range, and in this regard, I'm planning to make a series of videos of this plane so that I can just break down all the information related to a flight into different videos, which will make it easy for you to look for a specific information on my channel. Because it's really difficult to actually cramp up all the information in just one video. Although I will be uploading a complete tutorial for this plane as well on my channel. Before this, I have uploaded a video in which I've shown you how to connect the EFB of this plane with your Simbrief account. And then the second video was related to the configuration of EFB and the MCDU, which is the multifunction control and display unit. And now this video is related to the startup procedure, how to start this plane from the cold and dark state. And in the coming videos, I will also cover autopilot, approach and landing, and plus RNAV approach and landing. So before I begin, just let me clarify one thing, that my videos are for the beginners. So that's why I just try to keep things really simple, because I assume that the people who are actually watching this video, they have a very little or less or no knowledge of the flight simulation. So that's why they're watching this video. So I will just try to cover everything that will enable you to carry out a flight from one airport to another. Before I begin, let's have a look at the different components of this cockpit. Over here you have the overhead panel, and you have the controls for the fuel pumps, for the electric power, and then for the APU, which is the auxiliary power unit, and then you have the controls for the external lights, and then you have ADIRS, which is Air Data Initial Reference System. It actually provides the GPS coordinates to the Flight Management Guidance System, which is FMGS. Then over here, you have the FCU, Flight Control Unit, this part. This actually controls the different modes of the autopilot. Then you have EFS, Electronic Flight Instrument System, with the help of which you can just get different information over here on the navigation display, which is on the left hand side and on the right hand side. Then you have the prime flight displays. These two are the prime flight displays. Then these two are the ECAM, which is Electronic Centralized Aircraft Monitor. You have the upper one and the lower one. These are the two MCDUs, Multifunction Control and Display Unit, which interacts with the Flight Management Guidance System. In order to carry out a flight, you should configure the MCDU. Then on the pedestal, you have got further controls. You've got the thrust levers, the speed brakes, the flaps, parking brake, and plus you have the radio communication panels, and plus the transponder. And then these are the controls for the pitch of the plane. Now, if I press Shift Space and reset the view, you will see the EFB as well over here. So before I start the plane, let's make sure that the thrust levers are in the idle position. So they're in the idle position. Flaps are retracted. Speed brake is also inactive. Gear lever down, and also make sure on your controllers as well, because if it's appearing over here and plus your controller has the gear lever up, then you will have a problem during the flight. So just make sure they're also like this on your controller. I'm using the TCA quadrant by Thrustmaster. And the wipers are off, and that's it. And plus over here you have got the control for the weather radar. Just make sure that it's off as well. And that's it. Now you should get some power in the plane. So let's begin with the Powerup Procedures. Just go up, and over here you will see these two buttons, battery 1 and battery 2. The voltage of the battery is also appearing, 28.4 volts. Just turn on the battery, and now you will have some power in the plane. That's it. Now, to get further power in the plane, you need a power source. The plane has its own power source, which is the APU, auxiliary power unit, and the engines. But as the APU or the engines are not running right now, so that's why you need another power source, which is the external power, and you can see it says available. If it's not available, then you can go to the EFB, and over here in the ground services, you can toggle the GPU. If I just go out, you will see the GPU attached to the plane. It's over here. You can see this yellow wire, so it's there. So once you have the external power available, just click this and now it's on. Now your plane has the power, and these screens will take some time, I think roughly 40 seconds. And now you can see nav accuracy downgraded because I have not turned on these knobs, which is the ADRS, and that's it. So once I will just set these knobs to nav, you will get the GPS coordinates. Now you can see the eCam is also up and running, and it's showing you the doors, and plus this is the information related to engines. And right now on the prime flight display and the navigation display, nothing is appearing because the iris alignment is not complete. This is an iniBuilds plane, and it relies on the Simbrief for the flight planning. So you have to make a flight plan in the Simbrief, and then you can just come back and you can just configure the EFB and the MCDU. You have to make your login in the Simbrief. The address is simbrief.com, and once you have your Simbrief account, you can then make a flight plan by going over here, new flight. First of all, select the departure airport, which is OMDB. This is the ICAO code for the airport. If you don't know the ICAO code for any airport, then you can just Google it. And the arrival is OTHH, which is Hamad International Airport. It's a very short flight, that's why I use it for my videos. Right now, the alternate airport, in case of any emergency, it's select automatically by Simbrief, but you can change it. Let's say if I type OMAA, then Abu Dhabi International Airport will be selected as an alternate airport, or maybe I can select the OBBI, which is Bahrain Airport. And then the aircraft type, just go over here, A321N, and this is the one. Just select this because all the fuel planning is done as per the airframe, so that's why you should select the aircraft. And then there are so many planes appearing over here. FS Lab has also recently launched the Airbus A321, which I'm planning to actually purchase and make a video. These all planes by FS Labs is also appearing over here. You can select this iniBuilds MSFS plane, which is A321LR, which is long range. Cost index is 30. This is actually a number between 1 and 100. It determines the rate of fuel burn. If you go with a smaller number, less fuel is burned, but the range of the plane increases. And if you go with a higher number, more fuel is burned, plane goes at a higher speed, but the range reduces. But just remember this thing, that if you select a higher cost index, then it will take the plane some time to get up to the top of climb. Because at a higher speed, the vertical speed is compromised. So it will take the plane some time to get up to the cruising altitude. So that's why I use a smaller number, as it's a very short flight. So that's why I just try to get up to the cruising altitude as soon as I can. So maybe I can use even 20 for this flight. As you can see, the block time is 1 hour and 15 minutes. Now for the units, you can change the units for this flight plan, either kilograms or pounds. And then you have the flight rules, IFR, VFR. I'm using IFR, Instrument Flying Rules. That's it. And then you have the departure runway, 30 right for Dubai and 34 right for Hamad International Airport. You can change the runways if you want, but just keep it like this because Simbrief automatically selects the runways as per the wind and weather conditions. The cruising altitude will be 25,000 feet, as it's a short flight, so that's why we're just getting up to 25,000 feet. Mostly the people ask me this question, if how do I select the altitude? So if my flight is less than an hour, or at least for an hour, it's 22 to 25,000 feet. And if it's more than 1 hour, then I try to climb up to 32,000 feet or 35,000 feet. And the passengers, I always carry full passengers, and the freight is set to auto. Now, this is the fuel planning. You can select the reserve fuel. I select 30 minutes of extra reserve fuel. Now, once you select the runways, you will get the flight plan, and this is the flight plan. It has 4 parts. The SID, standard instrument departure, the STAR, which is standard terminal arrival, and then you have the waypoints and the airways. So the first point is the SID, which is standard instrument departure. It's actually a procedure to fly out of an airport. And this is STAR, standard terminal arrival, to arrive at an airport. Anything appearing in alphabetical value is your waypoint, and anything in alphanumeric is an airway. You can look at the airways by clicking this option, and you will see all the airways, P699, M430, and so on and so forth. Now in the flight plan, you will see that the last point is Tosna, which is over here. And after this, all these points are not mentioned in the flight plan as they are part of the STAR. Similarly, for the departure, you can see that this is the point where the plane will go after the takeoff, and all these points are part of the SID. The SID and the STAR not only have the waypoints or the direction, but they also have the altitude and the speed constraints if there are any. So once you have this flight plan over here in the Simbrief, just simply generate the flight plan, and once the flight plan is generated, then you can get this flight plan in the plane. That's it. So now I'm in the cockpit, and let's get back to the business. Go to options, and let's go through the options over here on the EFB. You have the Simbrief user ID. You can get it from the account settings. If you're not really familiar with this process, I will give you a link in the description. You can just go and watch that video. You have to just enter the Simbrief user ID over here, then the tail number. You can change the units of this plane, either kgs or units, pounds, sorry. Then you have the iris align time, real, fast, or instant. This is actually this control which I mentioned it to you before. The ADIRS, which is A Data Initial Reference System. Let me just adjust the view so that you can have a better look. So just turn these knobs to nav so that the plane has the GPS coordinates, and the flight man guidance system knows where the plane is. And I can press Shift 5, go back to the EFB. So it will now take 6 to 7 minutes. As you can see it over here on your screens, on the upper eCam, it shows that iris in align 6 minutes. And over here you will see align iris. So this will take some time. If you keep it at fast, then it will take 2 to 3 minutes, and instant, obviously it's done instantly. Link instruments, the instruments on the left hand side are linked with the instruments on the right hand side. So let's first of all get rid of this master caution. So if I change the barometric pressure over here, you will see nothing is changing. But if I link the captain and the first officer, then the both will change, as you can see. So I just keep it at no. Then this is the option, rudder controls tiller. This is actually a control which is known as the tiller. It actually moves the nose wheel of the plane during the taxi. You will be able to maneuver the plane on the runway during the taxi with this controller tiller. If you have a separate controller, then it's good. You can keep it at no, but otherwise you can control the tiller with the rudder controllers till the time you are at the runway for the takeoff. Because then the tiller gets automatically disconnected if this option is switched to yes. So keep it over here yes, and then you will be able to move the plane using the rudders. Then use zero fuel weight entry. If you go to the payload, you can get the payload from the Simbrief. You get the passengers, the cargo, and the fuel. And now you have basically two major informations. One is the zero fuel weight, the weight of the plane, plus the weight of the passengers and then the cargo. So this is the zero fuel weight, and then you have the fuel. So you can enter it manually by using this option, enter zero fuel weight, but always get it from the Simbrief. Once you have some experience on this plane, then you can just change it. So that's why I use no for this option, use zero fuel weight entry. Now you have the thrust reduction altitude. This is either 1000 or 1500. So during the takeoff, either you move the thrust levers to TOGA, which is take off and go around, which is like the full power. I'm just showing you right now. This is actually the full power. And you either move it to flex to 10. And then after the takeoff, after crossing this altitude, either 1000 or 1500, you move it to climb. And then throughout the flight, the thrust levers remain over here. So I use 1500. And on-screen keyboard, if you enable it and if you click any text box, you will be able to interact with the on-screen keyboard. It's really useful if you're using VR. Then let me disable it and then reset brake temperature. You can tap this option to reset the brake temperature. It happens after the landing. There's too much pressure on the brakes, so that's why at times the brakes get heated up. There is another way to cool down the brakes. You will see this option over here. Yeah, brake fan. Let me just adjust the view. Brake fan. So you can turn it on to cool down the brakes. And on the parking brake, you can, on the ramp, instead of using the parking brakes, you can use the chocks. But for now, oops, let me just adjust the view. Now. This is it. And throttle settings, you can go to these throttle settings and you adjust the throttle. I have a video in which I've shown you how to do it for the A320neo V2 for iniBuilds. I will give you a link in the description and you will know how to configure the Thrustmaster Airbus edition, the TCA quadrant and plus the side stack, how to configure it for this plane. But for this video, right now, I'm not going into the details of it. And one more thing, this is the control for the brightness. So you can change the brightness of the EFB and you can turn it on and off. Let's get to the dashboard and let's get the flight plan, Simbrief flight plan. And now you have the departure airport and the arrival airport. You have got the temperature. Then you have the operational flight plan. As a beginner, you should not bother yourself reading this flight plan because it will be automatically done by the systems. But there are a few things that you should consider. This is the maximum takeoff weight, landing weight, and the zero fuel weight, the capability of this plane. And then this is the estimated as per the given flight payload. Then this is the cost index and the distance and the air distance, ground distance and air distance. And then you have average wind for this flight and stuff like this. Then you have the fuel. You will be carrying 5,459. 5,459, yes, this is what I said. Kilograms of fuel, which is 5.5 tons. And then you have the breakup of the fuel for the trip and for the alternate and for the final reserves. That's it. And now you have over here the flight plan. In case you want to divert your flight to the alternate airport, which is OEDF, which is automatically selected. Then you have actually the runway 34 right, and plus the arrival procedures and the waypoints. And then this is your main flight plan, which I have shown you in the Simbrief, which is given over here. That's it. And the rest of the things, you can just go to Simbrief, and they have a tutorial for this operational flight plan. That's it. Now on the ground, for the ground services, you can toggle the jetway, and then you can toggle catering, luggage, and you can also call the pushback, tug. Let's go out and see what's happening. You can see all the ground services are in action right now. So that's how you do everything. So as now the jetway is connected and you have the luggage truck and plus I think I also call the catering. Yeah, this is the catering van. Now then you can get the payload. So let's get the payload from Simbrief, and now you can see full passengers 220. You have 5.8 tons of cargo, or 5,800 kilograms of cargo, and 5.5 tons of fuel. And simply apply the payload. Now, realistically, it will take up to 40 minutes for the payload to be applied. But for this video, I'm just trying to cut it short. I'll just keep it at instant. Now you can see the plane jumped because everything is now loaded. There is weight in the plane. Now you can see the live gross weight with everything, with the fuel, with the passengers, with the cargo. It's 76,559 kilograms. This is the dry weight without anything. The maximum weight that this plane can carry, 93 tons. And then the zero fuel weight is 71,100 kilograms, and the fuel is given. Now, this is an option for the panel states. You can click any of these panel states and the plane will be in that state. So this is the cold and dark state from which we started. This is the state that we are in right now on GPU. And before the pushback, you switch to APU, which is the auxiliary power unit. It's a generator at the back of the plane, which provides power to the plane to start the engines. And obviously, once you start the pushback, you cannot have the GPU connected with the plane. So you have to disconnect it. So that's why you need APU. And ready to take off, engines up and running. Then that's it. Now, this is the takeoff performance calculation. You have to do this. It's really easy and simple. In this plane, select the runway, go to the operational flight plan, and just look at the runway that you're using right now. So it's 34 right. Let me just go up. You can see it's 30 right. Sorry, 34 right is for the Qatar airport. So 30 right. Let's select 30 right and sync. You will get the weather information, and then you can change the condition of the runway, whether it's wet or dry. So it's dry. And then over here you have to enter the weight. This is the total weight, 76559. So just enter 76559. You don't have to enter it in tons. You have to enter it in kgs. Then the flaps. For the flaps, remember this thing that flaps provide lift during the takeoff, but they also provide drag. So you should select the optimum settings for the flaps. So 1 plus F, then you have basically flap set to position 1, position 2, 3, and then again back to 1. So always go with the optimum settings. Air conditioning will be on during the flight, and you can turn it off, but just keep it on. Anti-ice is off because I'm not flying in icing conditions, and forced toga. Now, there's this thing which I just want to tell you, that if you set your thrust levers to toga, then the full thrust is given to the engine and the plane will take off, which is obviously right. But in real life, the planes don't actually take off with the full thrust because the runways are really good, they're long, and the plane can use this runway to get up to the speed at which it can take off. So that's why you try to take off with a reduced thrust in order to put less pressure on the engines and in order to save fuel. So that's why you have this flex to temp setting, which is a temperature that the takeoff performance calculator calculates, and it gives to the flight management guidance system, due to which reduced thrust is used for the takeoff. So once everything is done, you can press this button, calculate, and the flight performance, the takeoff performance will be calculated. This is the flex to temp. These are the speeds, V1, VR, V2. Before this speed, V1 speed, you can abort the takeoff, but after this speed, you have to take off because then you will run out of runway. So that's why. Now you get this V1. This is the speed at which you take off, and V2 is the speed the plane tries to reach after the takeoff because this is the speed at which the plane can fly if one engine fails. And then you can just carry out the engine failure procedures and then just land back at the airport. And then you have the maximum takeoff performance, 82.9%. This is the center of gravity of the plane, and this is THS's trimmable horizontal stabilizer. It's actually at the back of the plane. You can see these are the stabilizers, the horizontal stabilizers, whether to pitch up or down during the takeoff. So this is 0.4 up. So the stabilizer will be adjusted in such a way that you get some additional lift during the takeoff as per the center of gravity of this plane. That's it. Now let me just adjust the view. You have everything. Now you can send this to FMGS, which is the Flight Management Guidance System. Now it's time to configure the MCDU. Nav accuracy upgraded, and that's it. So let's clear everything. Let me just adjust the view so that the MCDU is clear. Now over here you have to follow a procedure which is diff strip, data initialization, flight plan, secondary flight plan, RadNav, initialization B or init B, and then the performance. So this is a sequence that you actually follow to configure the MCDU. It's really simple, it's really easy. First of all, let's look at the data. You will get the engine options. If you go over here, the engine, this is LEAP engine, and then you have the air cycle and stuff like this. So you can just like see the plane is getting the GPS coordinates and everything is good. That's it. Now go to the initialization page. So from here you can initialize the flight, press init request, and you will get the to and from airports. You have the flight number. You can change it if you want. This is the cost index, and this is the cruising altitude. And then just check the iris initialization. It's done. You get iris 1, 2, and 3. You get the GPS coordinates, AOC route uplink. Let's clear it and return. That's it. And now you get the wind during the climb. These are the altitudes: flight level 100, which is 10,000; flight level 180, which is 18,000. And this is the direction of the wind and the magnitude of the wind. You can again press this button and request the wind if you want, and then you can just look at the different wind conditions at different levels during the descent and stuff like this. So go back to initialization, and that's it. Now for the flight plan, let's select the departure procedure and the runway. So I have actually the Simbrief dispatch. This was a good one. Dispatch system. And I will also give you a link in the description in which I will show you how to get this one for your flight. But I can just view this flight plan in the simulator. So this is actually really convenient. You don't have to, switch between the Explorer and the flight simulator. I've used the word Explorer because I'm using Edge. Internet Explorer, the old, I think this word from my old memory just came up. Okay. So now you have runway 30 right. So let's select runway 30 right. Just press this left soft key, the first one. And for the departure, ILS, no, not ILS, it's for the arrival. It's 30 right. Just select 30 right. And then NABI 3F. And just scroll down and you will see NABI 3F. And that's it. Just press insert. And then for the arrival, just press this OTHH, and arrival is ILS 34 right. And then TOSN 2L. So 2L and just insert. And now you have the flight plan. You can just scroll through it. Now let me just show you one more thing. You can view this flight plan in the navigation display. Let me just adjust the view. Just want to show you something. Okay. Now just move this knob to plan, and then you will see the flight plan over here on the navigation display. Now the plan is appearing. Then you can just scroll through this flight plan using these up and down arrow keys. Just do this. And you can see whether your flight plan is good or not. You can change the zoom over here by moving this knob, and that's it. I want to show you something really interesting over here in this flight plan. Now, this is the arrival procedure, and now you can see that after this point, let me just bring it. Now, DASIC. After this point, there is a discontinuity because initially I was unable to understand that why in the flight simulator for some airports there is always a discontinuity in the arrival and the approach and then the final approach, because this type of approach is flown using the vectors or the direction given by the ATC. So after DASIC, you have to wait for the ATC to give you the directions, and then you just turn the plane and then you land. If you're using the beyond ATC, software, then you will really understand. It's really amazing. I have a video on my channel in which I've shown you how to do it with the Beyond ATC. You can just go and watch it. So you have to wait for the vectors. But if you're not using ATC and you're not getting any directions, then it's better to delete this. And how to delete it? It's really simple. First of all, you delete this manual, and then you delete the flight discontinuity. Because if you try to delete the flight plan discontinuity, it will not work. So I'll show you. Just first of all, make sure there's no message or error appearing over here. If it is, then press clear to get rid of it, and then again press clear. Once you see clear, try to delete it and it will say not allowed. It says not allowed because you have to first of all delete manual, and then clear and discontinuity deleted, and that's it. Now you can see this flight plan is connected. So if you don't want to fly it with the ATC and you want to get rid of the discontinuity, this is how you do it. Now after F, you have a secondary flight plan. So go to the secondary flight plan. You can copy the active flight plan. You need the secondary flight plan because in case you want to make any changes, you just make it over here. You don't mess around with the original flight plan. So you can just like make any changes over here. So let's say in the secondary flight plan, I can change maybe the runway. You can see I can select any of the runways. So once you make any change in the secondary flight plan, then you can activate the secondary flight plan. So I will also make a video for it in which I will show you how to select the alternate airports, how to change the flight plan, and stuff like this. Then you have RadNav. This is basically radio navigation, and you will see the frequencies for the VOR. VOR is actually very high frequency, only directional radio. It transmits radio signals in all the 360 degrees directions, and the planes actually follow those directions. So VORs are actually ground-based navigation devices. Right now, you will carry out this whole flight with the GPS. So it's actually RNAV, area navigation. But if you're using ground-based navigation devices, and then you have VORs, and then you have, this is actually ADF. They use NDBs, non-directional beacons on the ground, to get the direction. And then again, for the ILS, you have instrument landing system, you have the localizer, which takes the plane to the runway, and then you have the glide slope, which actually determines the descent rate of the plane towards the runway. This is again a ground-based navigation device. So you can just tune into different frequencies over here in this panel. I'm planning to make a video in which I will show you how to make carry out a complete VOR navigation flight. It's really interesting. If you know how to do it, it will add more fun to your flight simulation. Then init B, you do init B after the fueling is done, because this is related to the fuel. If you can, if you go back to init or initialization, you will see these two arrows. It means this screen has got more views. So you can just scroll between them using these left and right arrows. Now you have the zero fuel weight and the zero fuel weight center of gravity and the block fuel. So that's why you should have this information with you in order to get the zero fuel weight and zero fuel weight center of gravity. So if you have selected realistic apply payload, then you will wait 40 minutes, for the payload to be completed and fuel to basically do this init B. Now simply click it and it will get the block fuel and the zero fuel weight. It's really simple. All you have to do is this, just enter the trip wind, which is, you have to give the heading. Now if you go to the operational flight plan, and you will see that the average wind is given. Just go on the top and you will see average wind. Heading is 93 degrees and the magnitude is 15. So just enter it over there. It is 93, if I'm not wrong. Let me check again. 93. And that's it. So all the fuel calculations will be carried out automatically. Now, the last thing to do is calculate the performance. You have sent the takeoff performance data to the MCDU, and that's why it says confirm to data. Just click this, and you get the V1, you get the VR, you get the V2, you get the transition altitude, everything is there. This is basically takeoff shift. If you are not using the complete length of the runway for the takeoff, then you enter this distance in meters. Let's say if you're using any intersection, then you select takeoff shift, but I will be using the complete runway. This is actually done by the budget airlines to save fuel. Then you have flap position set to 1 and trimmable horizontal stabilizer up by 0.4. Flex to temp is 48 and engine out is 1510. Thrust reduction altitude is also shown over here, 1510, as I've shown you before. And this is the transition altitude. Actually, over here on the transition altitude, at the transition altitude, you change the barometric pressure from the given one to the standard. You just press this button and change this to standard. How to make sure that you have the right transition altitude? Let's get the Navigraph charts. You should have the Navigraph subscription in order to access these charts. Otherwise, you can also access the charts in the simulator. If you go over here and go to the flight planner, you can enter the airports and get the charts. But I use the navigation charts. So let me just unload it. Last night, I was actually doing a flight from Dubai to Qatar using the 777. I just got this 777 from PMDG, a really amazing plane. Although I used to have it for the 2020, but I tried it for the first time on 2024, and it was a superb experience. Flying 777 gives you a good feeling. Okay, so let's import the flight plan and OMDB OTHH, and that's it. Now, once you select this flight, it automatically gives you the required charts. So if I select this is actually the SID, the standard instrument departure, and as you can see, NABI 3F, and the transition altitude is shown over here, 13,000 feet. So this is good. And that's it. So everything is now done. And let's reset the view, go back, and that's it. Now everything is working perfectly all right in the EFB and the MCDU, and then we can proceed with the startup procedures. Now, first of all, let's adjust the view to arc and make sure on both of the sides you have arc, and then press comma on your keyboard in order to adjust the altimeter. You can also get this barometric pressure from the AFB, and if you go here, you will see 0996. So it's 0996. That's it. Now it's time to configure the FCU. Just turn on the flight director. You should have the flight director because this actually flight director shows you on the prime flight display where your plane should be. So it directs you. So if you are manually even flying the plane, you have to follow the flight director. So it should be on. You will see a cross over here in magenta color. That's it. Now the flight director is on. As soon as I will turn on, as I have turned on the flight director, you will see the speed and the heading has disappeared. Otherwise, before it was shown, as you can see. So this is something really interesting. Now autopilot will do it. So you will see these three dashes, and then you see the circle. It means that right now the speed and heading is in the managed mode. Whatever the information is there in the MCDU, the plane will actually follow this. So there are different, at different waypoints, there are different altitudes and different speeds. So the plane will actually follow this. This is the managed mode. And if I just do this, now it's in the selected mode. So this autopilot has got two modes, the managed mode and the selected mode. Selected mode is the one that you give an input to the autopilot. And the managed mode is the one that the plane picks it up from the MCDU. That's why. Keep it like this. Then for the altitude, I'm not using ATC, so that's why I will just straight away climb up to 25,000 feet. Otherwise, if you're using ATC, then you can just set this altitude to even maybe 13,000 feet, because at times the ATC give you a clearance to your transition altitude, and then from there you get further instruction for the altitude. But for this flight, you can just keep it at 25,000 feet. That's it. And now you have configured the FCU. Let's go to the overhead panel and do a few things over here. Now, as the fueling is done, you can turn on the seatbelt signs. The seatbelt signs have got two settings, auto and on. I keep it at auto. Above 10,000 feet, the seat belt signs turn off, and during the descent after 10,000, the seat belt signs turn on. No smoking signs, also keep it at auto. Arm the emergency exit lights. That's it. Now, as you are about to start the plane, so that's why I just turn on the beacon. This is actually red light on the top of the plane and below. This actually indicates the ground crew that you're about to start the plane. And then you have the nav and the logo lights. The nav lights are on the wingtips. There's this red light over here, and then you have the green light over here on this wing. So if any plane, especially in the night, sees a green light, it knows that this plane is going towards its green light over here. Yeah. This is a green light. The plane knows that it's going towards its right, and if you see a red light, it means the plane is going towards its left side. And then you also have the lights at the back. That's it. So just turn on the nav and logo lights, and then you have the strobe. Strobe is actually a white blinking light. It turns on once the plane is on the runway. So during the taxi, it's not required. So just set it to auto. It will automatically turn on and off during the flight. That's it. And now just turn on the oxygen for the crew supply, and then let's turn on the fuel pumps. And now it's time to turn on the APU. So this is the button for the APU. This is the master switch. So just turn it on. Wait for like 4 seconds. And then you can press this button, start, and then the APU will start. Let me just show you. You can see this screen over here. Airbus has a very smart system. It knows what phase of flight the plane is in, and according to that, it just keeps on showing you different warnings and different information on these eCams. So it's really nice. Although you can just change the type of information you want to see on the eCams. Either you want to look at the engines, the bleed air, the pressure, the electric systems, the hydraulic systems, the APU, air conditioning, doors, wheel, and flight control. You can also switch it, but it will automatically keep on changing. But after the pushback, once you do the flight control test, after the engines are up and the hydraulic systems are available, then you can just switch it. I will just show it to you. So right now you can see the APU is running, exhaust gas temperature is stabilizing, and after some time you will get the voltage from the APU. At this time you can just disconnect the GPU and then get along with the pushback. Now this sound, if you hear the sound, it means the APU is now available. As you can see, it says available. So now you can see the external power is automatically off. It's not, you can just turn it off, otherwise it's done automatically. Just turn on the window heat, and plus this is the APU bleed, which is the pressurized air used to start the engines. And now you can see the packs are also working, which is air conditioning. So everything looks good. Just remember this thing, that in the Airbus cockpits, there's a very good thing that if anything is not properly configured, you will see a light. So all the buttons should be black. Only for these two buttons, for generator 1 and generator 2, you can see this option fault, because right now the engines are not running. So once you have the engines, then this will also disappear. So just make sure that everything is black, and now you are good to go. Now at this time you can ask the ATC for the pushback, and plus this plane has pushback system in it, so you can also do it from here. No need to worry about it. Now there is something really interesting I want to tell you. Toggle chocks. You cannot toggle the chocks from the EFB. You have to jump out of the cockpit to do this. I didn't do it when I was getting in the plane, because I just wanted to show you this thing, because you cannot just toggle the chocks from here. So just do this, and that's it. Now, as you can see, all the doors are closed, and right now there is no service jetways connected. You can see toggle jetway. Let's get rid of the jetway. That's it. And you can see no ground services being carried out. So it's all good. That's it. Now I can release the parking brake. And plus, let me also turn on the transponder. Go to this option ATC, and you can see transponder 1 and 2. So keep it over here. Transponder, this is right now standby. You can change it to TA, RA, traffic advisory, and resolution advisory. ATC mode is auto. And TCAS display mode above, below. So you can select it to normal. And altitude reporting, just turn it on. And that's it. On the upper ECAM, you will see different warnings and different messages. Just keep an eye over here. It will tell you what's actually happening. So now I can call the tug, and let's press aft. That's it. It automatically turns right. I think there's this issue with the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Even if you call it from the radio using ground services, it again turns right. So I just keep on pressing aft just to make sure that everything is good. See? Left. No, right. And then press aft. So this is how you keep it straight. Let's turn right, because we have to go in this direction. And stop. Apply the parking brakes. Now it's time to turn on the engines. You can see this engine start switch. Just move it to start. And then just move the switch forward for engine 2, and now you will see the engine 2 will start running. You will see this fault will also disappear once you have the engine 2 up and running. You can see N1 is shown over here, which is the rotation of the fans of the engine, the front. This is the N2 at the back, and this is the exhaust gas temperature. Now there are a few things I will also discuss it with you. But let's first start the engines. Now you can see this fault has disappeared. Now let's turn on the engine 1 as well, because we have now power coming from the engine 2. That's it. So this is actually predictive wind shear is off. So you have to turn on the weather radar. Just move this switch over here and move these knobs to all weather. So you will now see weather on the navigation displays. So this has also disappeared. Now you have the hydraulic systems even working. Now this shows you that the parking brake is on, APU bleed is on, and ignition. This actually switch is set to start. Now with this sound you can see this generator one has also is also working, and the fault has disappeared. So that's it. Now we have the power coming in from both of the engines, and it will stabilize at 20.2 avail. Now it means that the engine is available. Now you can move the switch back to normal, and now you will see that this ignition message has disappeared. Parking brake is set, APU bleed is on, so let's turn off the APU bleed and the APU. We don't need this auxiliary power unit. Let's turn on the wing light for the taxi, move this switch to taxi, and run return on. If you need them, just turn it off. Turn it on. These are the lights which enables the pilots to look left and right. And that's it. Now set the flaps to position 1. Just move the flaps to position 1. You can see the flaps are getting extended. And then these are the speed brakes. You have to arm them. In case of rejected takeoff, the speed brakes will come into action. These are basically over here. Let me show you if I can just get them right now. So these are the speed brakes, as you can see. So in case of the rejected takeoff, these speed brakes help the plane to stop. And then this is the auto brake. You need it for the rejected takeoff. Just set them to max, and now you can see that APU is available, but it will just disappear after some time. The probe heat is on. Just make sure now all the buttons are black, and except for this probe heat, nothing is on. We don't need anti-ice. If I just turn on the anti-ice, then you will see it will say on, but we don't need it right now for this flight. And that's it. There's another thing that you can do. You see this button constraint. If you turn this button on, constrained and constrained, then you will see all the constraints for this flight, for the altitude and for the speed on the navigation display, which are also over here. So that's it. Now cabin check, it will automatically disappear. And takeoff configuration test, you can press this button over here, takeoff configuration, and it's normal. So that's how you do it. Now it's time to do the flight control check. If I press this button, you will see the flight control over here. Let me just get the controller so that we can carry out the flight control check. So first of all, move this stick towards the left. You can see the ailerons are working. If I go out, you can see the ailerons are working for the turn, and then just move it up and back. And now the rudders, and that's it. Now you can see the trim is now 0. You can just move it from here as well. So it's 0.4 up, if I'm not wrong. 0.4 up. So I have this on my controller, 0.3 and 0.4 up. So now this is adjusted, the trimmable horizontal stabilizer, and everything is good now. So that's how you start this plane from the cold and dark state and prepare it for the flight. Now I will be ending this video over here, because the scope of this video was how to start this plane from the cold and dark state and configure the EFB and the MCDU. Now I will be recording another video in which I will show you how to fly this plane on autopilot, and then the last one in the series will be how to land this plane using ILS. And then I will also make further more videos in which I will show you how to perform an RNAV approach and landing, VR approach and landing, and then how you can change the secondary flight plan, how to use the alternate airports, how to perform a go around. So there are so many things to cover about this plane. So far, if you've got any questions, you can ask me in the comment section, or if you want to add anything to this video, the comment section is there for you. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day. Hope to see you soon.